My name is Joe Davis, the Community Director at the Association, joined by fellow colleagues here, Joe Benzo, Ralph Kubley, Joe Sasha, Mel Padden, to name a few. And today, as we do every once a month, we're going to be diving into some developer updates from the association from Casper. So thank you all for joining. This call will be recorded, and it will be reshared across our social media in the coming days. I'll now hand it over to Mel Padden, who will give some updates on developer relations at Casper. And then Mel, if you could hand it over to our next guest, that would be great. So handing it over to you, Mel. Just quickly, if you have any questions, please, you can ask them on #AskCasper over on our Telegram, and we'll try our best to answer those questions during this call. If not, we'll be sure to get to them in text after the call or even during the call. So please do leave your questions, and we'll do our best to answer those. But handing it over to you, Mel.
Yeah, hi everyone. It's me again, Mel Padden, head of DevRel for Casper Association. Interesting times are ahead. Obviously, the call this month will be dominated by the Condor release. We are in the early stages of this release, I would say. So what everyone's worried about, of course, is their own integrations and the compatibility of their smart contracts and their dApps with Condor. Now, as such, the DevNet is going to be released on a staggered basis, and there is a form available on the Condor microsite. I should have talked about that first, actually, the Condor microsite, to allow you to apply for that. Some of you already know this. But just to reiterate that the Condor specific microsite, which has been developed by Adrian, I don't know if he's on the call, but he's done great work. And it is available at condor.casper.network. Now, you can treat this as your start point for basically anything that you need to know with regards to Condor. There's the standard kind of introductory documentation there. What is Condor, if you have no idea what that is, or how it affects you, and some slightly more specific information to do with if you're a validator or a developer or so forth. Possibly of greater interest to you will be the links to the, I think if you look at the bottom, there are links to, yes, thank you, Joe, to frequently asked questions. These are, as the name suggests, frequently asked questions. We will add to these on an ongoing basis if we are getting questions which are extremely frequently asked and which need to be added to the frequently asked questions list. There's also I guess you'd call it a issue management, or a way to raise questions in a fashion using our Canny microsite that is also at the bottom of the Casper Condor landing page to enable you to ask these questions, and also links to the specific Casper Condor Telegram channels where you can ask questions specific, again, to if you're worried about SDKs, if you're worried about smart contracts, if you're a validator. All of these specific questions can be asked in these channels. This is as distinct from our standard communication channels in order to, well, essentially to keep this information in one place and give you a single point of contact for all your Condor-related questions. So I do encourage you to go over there and have a look. It's literally hot off the presses. I think it's been released a couple of hours ago, basically. So go and have a look at that, and you should find resources to help you ask your questions. And we are, on the DevRel side also, we are in the process of developing a series of articles, how-tos. We're listening to the chatter coming in on our various channels, not just these Condor-specific channels. We are listening to the other channels. And we are creating content based on that. I mean, for instance, there's been a lot of questions about, well, how do I test my contracts? I don't have access to DevNet. And as a workaround for that, in the interim, obviously, you need to test your contracts against a network. There is no substitute for that. But in the interim, you can always test your contracts against a local net. And to that end, we have created a article about how to do that. How to create a Condor local net and test your contracts against that. That's in the works. I was hoping to have it ready for you today. It looks like it's going to take another day and maybe another day and change, essentially, to get that ready for you. And that will be published again on the Condor microsite. I'm not exactly sure where yet, but it will be on the Condor microsite. There will be links to all of this on the Condor landing page, right? So yeah, running Condor locally using Docker and CCTL, testing smart contracts on your Condor net, how to do that and what to look for, the process of doing that, and much more will be published. We're ramping up into a fairly aggressive cycle of publishing content based solely on Condor and Condor related concerns. Again, based on what we're hearing you guys asking, right? So that's coming from the DevRel team. And again, I don't know if they're on the call. I'd like to thank them for that because they're they're working overtime on this right now. So thank you guys for that. Other non-Condor related. Okay, I'll do one more Condor related subject first. There was, for anyone who doesn't know, the function StateGetItem on the RPC was deprecated about 16 months ago. Now, we received a request about this because essentially what happened was it was deprecated and it was not communicated to the community. This is as a result of the way the work was being organized at that time. There was a kind of a changeover internally within labs, and for some reason it just slipped through the cracks. So essentially, after internal discussions, what we've decided is, it's, our bad. We will essentially reintroduce that function, StateGetItem, and that will be in RC3, which I believe is being cooked up right now. I can't give you a date as to when that will be arriving, but I think it'll be pretty soon. That said, it will be deprecated or re-deprecated, so to speak. And at some point in the near future, it will be obsoleted and eventually deleted. So what we've also done is we've created a migration guide for getting away from StateGetItem onto the new query global state method, which gives you the same functionality and a bit more besides. So really, it's not a huge migration path. It's essentially you're changing the name of the function you're calling, and you have to do a little bit of you have to instantiate a global state identifier in order to call that particular function. And indeed, if you don't pass in the global state identifier, it will default look to the tip of the chain and start a search from there. So yeah, I mean, again, it's not a huge path to migration, but we are nonetheless publishing a guide to allow you to do exactly that. If you just really don't have the bandwidth, or you simply don't want to move off state, get StateItem. Okay, so that's that, and we'll be publishing that. And again, once that's out in the wild, we'll publish an update to that effect on all of our communications channels, right? Other things, Audra. Yes, Audra, the good men at Audra have released version 1.1. So it's called, rather imaginatively, the Phantom Menace, or Bullseye the Phantom Menace. Don't know if any of the Audra guys are on the call, just checking. I was hoping that they would be to talk a little bit about what's in it. But okay, it doesn't seem like they are. But there are some interesting updates in Audra 1.1 as 1.1.0. So they have introduced support for the Casper Cloud's alt token. And there's a couple of other things, new method for address, create an address from a string, a couple of minor ones, and also reverse lookup feature for SEP78. So the SEP78 implementation is in the Audra modules. It lacked a reverse lookup feature up till now. So they've just implemented that in this release. So that is, I would say, a pretty meaningful update, which all of you people who are using Audra should get on pretty quickly. The release notes as such, which contain the details of all of this, are on the Audra GitHub profile. I'll post this document in the chat at some point during the call so that you guys can see what I'm looking at, so that all of this information will be available to you. And yeah, so that's Audra right now. The other thing that we have done in the last month is publish a bunch of new Audra tutorials. And they are available, I think, if not now, they'll be available in an hour or two on the dev portal. Because, yeah, at the moment, I think Ronan is working on updating the dev portal. But they're still available in the same place they always were. We've just created a page to basically itemize them and talk a little bit about what each tutorial is supposed to show you, so that it's just easier for you to get into it from the dev portal side, and so that there's not just a straight link to our GitHub repository, that it's a little bit more friendly for you. Right, so that's basically all I have from the DevRel side. But
we do have a question, Mel, if you're able to answer it in our chat here. I'll just read it out from XY StakePire. Does Condor support an RPC call to get a list of switch blocks or the switch block of a specific era?
As far as I'm aware, if it supported it in the past, it supports it now. The other thing about the RPC is that it's now in the Condor sidecar, so any updates to that exist as separate from an update to the core protocol. But without knowing, without having prior knowledge of that specific use case, I can't really comment on it. But if it existed before, I think it should exist now. I think possibly Joe Zaka would be better placed to answer that one.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the RPC on all the different calls. I don't believe we had one in the past, but I think what Mel said is important, that the RPC going into the sidecar was done for a few reasons. One is to lower the complexity of the node. The less complex that is, the easier it is to keep secure code and pieces for it. And so it's something that we could do as an enhancement to the RPC fairly easily. About half of our upgrades up to this point were RPC enhancements, not really node changes. So it allows us to rev the sidecar without revving the network, which is one of the big things with Condor. And I know it's a sore point, XY. I know we've talked about that on, being able to easily query and look at the switch blocks for look at states and auction info. So if we don't have it in there, we probably need to ticket it for a .1 release or something, or even sooner, I guess, since it's in the sidecar.
Okay. So yeah, I think I'll leave it at that for the DevRel side for now. Just to reiterate, if you want to get in contact with us, the Condor landing page is probably where you should go, and there are links to our group mailbox, our Telegram channels, and so forth, all down the bottom of that site. So yeah, open for questions, and looking forward to a fairly busy month or two ahead of us.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Joe. So if anybody has any questions relating to Condor, please leave those in our chat or over on Telegram. We'll try and answer those, or Mel specifically will try and answer those during the call here, or get back to you after the call. We'll also be sharing the Condor FAQ over on Telegram and Discord shortly after the call, so you can go and check that out as well. Okay, so moving on, we have our guest from Make today, who I am now introducing. I'd like to introduce David Hernando from Make, who is going to give us an update on Condor, SDK updates, CSPR.cloud, and other product updates from Condor. CSPR.name as well, I believe, CSPR.build. Lots coming out of the CSPR suite of products. So if I could hand it over to David now, that'd be great. The floor is yours.
Thank you. David. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is David Hernando. I'm software engineer at Make. And today I'm excited to share with you, on behalf of Michael Stoyer, the progress we have made at Make in updating our products for Condor, the new version of the Casper protocol. So over the last month, our team has been diligently working to ensure a smooth transition for our developers and users. Let's start with updates on software development kits that Make is maintaining. We are working on Go and C# SDKs to make them compatible with Condor. Our primary objective is to mitigate as many changes as possible at the SDK levels. And by doing so, we aim to minimize the impact downstream for the application developers, as well as to facilitate a seamless transition and not disrupt ongoing projects. So as many may know, we use these SDKs in our suite of products, In particular, we use the Go SDK on Casper Cloud, for which we are also planning the required changes to integrate with Condor. We are taking the time to prepare here to these changes so that the migration is as seamless as possible for users, maximizing compatibility for existing applications and at the same time including new functionality from Condor. For example, native contract level events that is coming on 2.0. Similarly, we are planning updates for the rest of our products to make them Condor compatible. So we will bring new versions of Casper Click to support the new transaction model, as well as new versions for Casper Live, Casper Wallet, Casper Market, and Casper Studio. In conclusion, we are committed to ensuring this migration to Condor is as smooth and beneficial as possible for our developers and the whole community. Aside from Condor, we continue working on the CSPR.name project. And today I'm pleased to share that the team is finalizing the second iteration of the set of smart contracts, which we believe will be the final version. These smart contracts are crucial for the functionality and security of the CSPR name tokens. Recently, a couple of weeks ago, we began integrating with our partner D3 to make the name tokens available on the D3 marketplace, making it easier for users to buy, sell, and trade the tokens. When we launch the project around the end of Q3, Casper name will be available on various platforms, starting with Casper Live, Casper Wallet, and Casper Click. But additionally, developers will have access to Casper names through the Casper Cloud APIs, enabling them to integrate Casper name functionalities seamlessly into their applications. Also, resolution will be possible on-chain and via traditional DNS. Next, let me talk briefly about Casper Build Console. We're excited to announce that Casper Build has evolved into a fully self-service portal with the latest version. In addition to quickly obtaining Casper Cloud and Casper Click keys for their projects, users can now upgrade to our Pro plans effortlessly through the portal when they need access to more throughput, parallel connections, or persistent WebSocket streaming connections. And finally, let me remind all the community that the newest version of Casper Wallet added support for Ledger devices. So now anyone can connect his hardware wallet via Bluetooth or USB and interact with any dApp that supports Casper wallets. This functionality is available right now on desktop and browser extension, and it's coming soon to the mobile app. And thank you all for your attention. You can find us on Casper Developer Group on Telegram to make questions, or you can ask here. Back to you, though, Joe.
Thank you, David. So if you do have any questions for David over at Make, leave those in the chat. Although this seemingly is going to be a shorter call today, so we're going to wrap this up. Just want to thank everybody for joining in today to listen to updates from Mel Padden at the association, Joe Sasha, and David Hernando from Make. Great things happening at Make, very exciting. So as always, please go and check out Make. Make have their own Telegram group. I'll leave a link to that in the Telegram app just shortly after this call. Be sure to go over there if you have any questions. Also, I believe David's over there, probably can answer your questions as well. So please go and get involved. We do have a Twitter space in 2 weeks from now. I encourage you to join it. We'll be sharing more information leading up to the Twitter space. It's less developer focused, so just a general chat. Hop in, ask to come on stage, and have a chat with us. Ask questions, have a joke, whatever you want. It's absolutely free for all. So thanks everyone for joining today. We'll see you in 2 weeks over on our Twitter space or X space, and we'll see you then with more information leading up to that event. Thanks everyone.